Good morning and welcome to Better Thyself segment of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. We live in a society and the base of society is family. Family is a unit that sustains us, that enables us to go ahead. And we are happy or unhappy mostly because of the family relationship. There can be other reasons as well, but if your family unit is not stable, if the relationships are toxic, then they cause you such unhappiness and misery that even your work, your social discourse, your advancement, your peace of mind, and in fact the whole life and the system is disturbed. The toxic relations are so horrible that there's an urgent need to cut them off if you want to have a happy life, even as a matter of fact, even if you want to have a life at all. But unfortunately, the word family causes us to sit up and say, well, how can we do it? Why do it? Now let's be very clear. Family estrangnements are not unusual. More than every 4 Americans, a total of 27% of the people 18 or older, have cut off contacts with a family member and they are not unhappy. Globally, we see at least 20% of the people are unhappy. And unhappy because of a bad spouse, toxic spouse, a toxic son, a toxic daughter, a toxic father, mother, mother-in-law, father-in-law, cousins, uncles, aunts, and so on. In the closer societies like South Asia or in Africa, the toxic relationship can be 3 units away and yet cause you a trouble. And I've seen in India and Pakistan the marriage ceremonies and the funeral ceremonies when the families get together, not the nuclear family but the enlarged family, that is an occasion of backbiting, that's an occasion for causing unhappiness and misery. There was a national survey done in 2020 and it was done by Professor Hazel Reed, Department of Psychology at Weill Cornell Medicine Institute. And I was involved in that as an advisor. And this was a repetition of 2015 survey done in the Northeastern University that showed that study showed very clearly that 17% experienced estrangement from immediate family members, that is, sibling or parents or children. In another study, we saw that moms between the age of 65 and 75-year-old were estranged from at least one adult child, or the other way around, at least one adult child was estranged from the moms and the dads. And curiously, more mothers are estranged from the daughters and sons from the fathers. Whether it's Oedipus complex and Electra complex, I don't know. But family members can experience a falling out for multiple reasons. It can be physical abuse, it can be verbal abuse, it can be financial issue, it can be disagreement over life decisions, and needing to part from the toxic behavior. So, the problematic area is that we are too bound. Suppose your mother is toxic, or your wife is toxic, or your husband is toxic. How can we do it? After all, she is my mother. After all, he is my father. He is bad, but he is my brother. She is really horrible, but she is my sister. That feeling, and I know certain people who would go out of the way to help people, their nieces, their nephews, and so on, knowing fully well that they don't deserve any help and they can cause you only hurt. I've also seen the people who take help and then hurt you because they suffer from inferiority complex, and when you help them, they think you are obliged to do it. But before I say cut off those relationships, let's know what is toxic behavior. Toxic behavior can be abusive, it can be demeaning, it can be hurtful, it can be exploitative. And the worst is the exploitative. They play on your finer senses, these relations. They are parasites, bloodsuckers, leeches. And behaviors in these categories are missing an essential ingredient, and that is regard for the emotional experience or well-being of another person. Absolutely selfish, absolutely self-centered, fine, but self-centered to the extent of harming the person who gives them the care, who helps them out. And this is a curious human tendency that when you take help from somebody, you think that that person is obligated to you, rather you have obliged that person from taking help. What sort of reasoning is that? Is because we think, we have been taught, help your family, help the others. But the second part of that, help when they deserve, when they need, but don't help the parasites. In our human behavior, we help the parasites. Now, the toxicity of the behavior is so damaging that it kills your initiative. And the amplification of this toxic behavior in family life is ideally the context where one wants and needs to feel safest, securest, more cared for, more accepted. A toxic relation, any person can make you feel upset and bad whenever they are in your presence. But a toxic relation, the closer the relationship, the more toxicity can be there. And these are the people who never hesitate to criticize you or others in their family and tend to blame others for their own problems and unhappiness. They think that you are a beast of burden on whom all the blame can be thrown out. And sometimes it can be complaining, well, look here, I have nobody to help me, you are good, but even you don't care. What nonsense. Now, these are the people, typical individuals, who would always take your help, but they will always criticize you, often in your presence, always on your body. They may also gaslight, and gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation where a person makes you question your own perception. You are divided whether to help or not. Your perceptions are so warped by the manipulation, psychological, mental manipulation, that you're helpless. At that time, what you need is cut the Gordian knot and say, thus far, no further, I don't want to have any contact with you. I know it does sound harsh. Maybe it is. But charity begins at home with yourself. By retaining that relationship, you are in fact hurting yourself and hurting your close relations. The real relations who have your good, your better life in mind, who have real regard for you. And these people are so manipulative and act. That's your behavior that is harming them, rather other way out. And that's the crux. They sometimes seem like vessels that can never be filled. And in whatever you do is never enough. You can go to any limit. Now, being on the receiving end of such toxic behavior from mothers can lead to mental health issues, and then you suffer from low self-esteem, you suffer from anxiety, you suffer from stress, and you suffer from depression. So it's necessary. And if a family member is not capable of curtailing the negative interaction with you or your children after you allow them not to do so, it's so clear that your immediate family are not benefiting in some way or in any way from these relationships. They are like, honeysuckles. They suck your life. It's a hurtful relationship. You would see that many times, say, an aunt visits you, or an uncle visits you, or a niece or nephew comes, and your children start to dread visiting their member. They interact in the negative ways. So recognize that spending time apart from them is better for your mental health and mental health of your immediate family. I remember a case where a gentleman removed himself from his own mother. This was informed to me by Michael Goldman, a psychologist and advisor. And he said that the mother was such a horrible creature. And unknowingly, I don't blame the mother. She might have some other issues. But she was unable to recognize toxicity. She was comfortable with a low self-worth. And she would transmit that low self-worth and feeling of guilt to the grandchildren. So the father had to say, look here, mom, you stay here, I'll look after you, I'll care for you, but no relationship, no communication. And that continued for about a couple of years, and then the mother understood possibly. She went to psychiatrist and she became more sensible, and then the relationship was resumed. So it's important to decide whether to relationship or not, and if you want to retain a relationship, what sort of a relationship. Why must you always go out of the way to help? Have a cool relationship. It can continue on an emotional level whether you are actively in contact or not. You may opt to have a more limited relationship. So either you can cut out or limit it. Limit them, see them less frequency in circumstances that don't require much interaction. It's important to see that the toxic behavior is even harmful for those people. It destroys them mentally. And if you don't do that, then you are guilty. Let me be very clear. Of course, toxic situations need to be handled on a case-to-case basis. There cannot be a hard and fast way to describe how to deal with this toxic relations and how to deal with that toxic. You have got to take each individual case. One person, you can advise, suggest, watch, and then resume relationship. Other person, you had to be a butcher. I always used to say when I was a CEO and a consultant, look here, to be a good manager, you have to be a good butcher. And I also used to say, you have to have empathy with your people. Now, one gentleman who was CEO, my client, he said, look, Lamba, I fail to understand. On the one side, you say I should empathize with my people. I should look at their problem as my problems, and then you say, be a good butcher. How do you reconcile these two? I said, very simple. It's very simple. In a normal course, you have empathy, you have sympathy, you have understanding, you are human relationship. You are humane. But you always give time to the person to evolve. But then if you say that over a period of time the clarity is that the person would not improve and the person would continue to be a drain on your energy, then cut him off. Personally, I would give 2 chances to everybody. One time it will be advisory, second time it will be warning, third time it will be kick out. And that's what needs to be done. People, and then let me tell you, if you take decisive action in one case, the news will travel that this man cannot be taken for granted. And he can act decisively, and it's important to do that. So, as in a corporate sector, you have got to give advice, you have got to suggest, you have got to tell the alternative, you have to guide, you have to mentor, and then you have to warn, and then you have to give a pink slip. The same is in the relationship. You tell them it's not acceptable. But then if you have seen the past time that the person is not going to change, then you can say, look here, thus far, no further, I don't want to see your face. I don't want to hear from you. Period. And if you do it, believe me, you'll be happy, you'll be more satisfied with your life, you'll be living in a more congenial milieu. And that would make you a better human being as far as the generality is concerned. And you would not be immersed in defeatist thought. You would be alive, kicking on the way up, because your base, the family base, is strong and effectively helpful. That's what you need, nothing more. Think about it and act immediately. Any delay can be injurious to you as well and to your immediate family and the good people who wish you well. Thank you.